The jury clearly listened to the Commonwealth's evidence, and they found the defendant to be what the Commonwealth said he was from the moment these charges were filed, that he's a common criminal. The jury agrees with our verdict, and we think that verdict was appropriate based on the evidence.
What was the one not guilty?
There was a not guilty of just theft. He was found guilty of other thefts.
Can you go over those for us, please? What he was found guilty for?
He was found guilty of conflict of interest, criminal conspiracy to commit conflict of interest, as well as 3 different types of theft. All of those are felon convictions.
So he will lose his pension then?
Yes, the thefts, is my understanding, are pension forfeiture offenses.
Any comment on the fact that he says he intends to keep his seat and run for re-election?
Well, he's a convicted felon, and convicted felons, once they're sentenced, can't sit in the General Assembly. If he wants to spit in the face of the jury's verdict, I guess that's his prerogative.
What's the amount of money here at stake that, with how the accounts fell out, that was stolen from taxpayers?
The judge will ultimately determine that at sentencing. We proved, based on the evidence presented, well over $100,000.
And how much time would you minimum get here if all these counts added up?
Well, ultimately, the judge determines the sentence. The sentencing guidelines, which the judge has to listen to but isn't bound by, call for anywhere from a county prison sentence to a state prison sentence.
Can you total it up? What would the minimum be if these counts he was convicted on, under the guidelines?
The guidelines, yeah.
The guidelines for each of the offenses is 9 to 16 months. And then there's a question as to whether the judge will ask or will have them imposed concurrently with each other, or whether they're imposed consecutively one after the other. That'll be up to the judge.
Why do you think he was convicted of 3 theft charges and acquitted of 1? That's
a question better asked of the jury, and as you heard, the judge said you can't ask him that. I'm not going to speculate on what the jury did.
But about the count, why is it different from the other 3 theft charges? Does that give you any insight into why that might have been?
I'm not going to speculate on the jury's deliberations.
Those don't address different types of theft, or?
Well, certainly they're different types of theft, but again, as to how the jury came up with the verdict they did, I'm not going to speculate on that.
Did the guidelines?
Do you have any idea of what you're going to recommend at this point?
At this point, no. That's certainly something that we'll discuss internally, and then we'll make a determination in advance of the sentencing date.
Do the guidelines say whether the sentences should be concurrent?
No. That's within the discretion of the judge.
Are you happy with what the jury came out with?
Well, certainly we're pleased with the jury's verdict, and we agree with it. I think happy is the wrong term, because what we're talking about is a criminal defendant, now a convicted felon, who stole well over $100,000 worth of taxpayer funds, and there's no reason to be happy about that.